This is what his sister used to do, Sonia, who passed away, it'll be 3 years, a couple days after Thanksgiving. When she get tired of wading through the water, the old bones start to get tired, she'd find the biggest log she could, and she'd just lay, because they love it this time of year. You got all these leaves from fall, so he just lays on a blanket of leaves, and he'll sit there and chew on that until I take it away from him. If I start to see you swallow it, I know a little bit of roughage is okay for you, but you can't eat the whole log, Fluffy. He's ignoring me. Typical. But he's having a good time. That's all. That's all he's got left, is have a good time at the river, huh? Yeah, tough life, I know.
Verhaeghe in overtime! Verhaeghe in overtime! Verhaeghe in overtime!
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Puck drop. And 3, 2, 1.
Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go Panthers! Let's go! Go!
Alright, Panther fans, here we go. So, we got the Jackets tonight. A quick one-game homestand before we go back out on the road on Wednesday. I believe that's against the Capitals. So, one lineup change tonight. Balinskis is out. Riley is in. The guy who in the season preview I continuously called Josh Bailey. It's actually Mike Riley. Who would have known? Who would have thunk that? Bubba draws back in. I haven't seen the lines yet. I wouldn't be against keeping them the way they were at the end of the game the other night, but Maurice might just send everything back to, who knows? He might just play Yahtzee, put everybody's name into the Yahtzee cup and roll it out on the... That's how we used to do the lines when I first started the channel. Especially during the Tom Rowe years, the zombie year, that year. You never knew who the lines were going to be. It was complete, because it didn't matter. It really didn't matter. So, we need to get 2 points tonight. Why is that different from any other night? Because we shoulda, woulda, coulda been on a little bit of a roll here with the schedule. Now we've got this game tonight, then you got the Capitals. I believe we got the Blackhawks coming up again. I think there's another game in between there somewhere. But the point is that it won't be long before, I believe, next week. Is it next week? Yeah, I think it's a week or so away. I think it's the 12th and the 14th and 16th or 14th. Whatever it is, we're going on that West Coast trip really, really soon, which means the games are going to start at like 10:30 at night. Now, in the past, I haven't really been able to do those. Kyle has done those. I'm going to try to gut it out this year. We'll see how it goes. But if I stay up late for those games, might mean the reviews a little bit later. All right, it's been working so far. Stay healthy. Now, it didn't work for the 2 points part, but so far, so good. We played a couple of games. Nobody's been hurt. I need to see better effort on the ice tonight, guys. All right? Yesterday, Dolphins pissed me off. Had to rant. Don't make me have to do it again tonight. Now, if you watch the reviews that I do in the mornings with Stu, you know Stu likes his analogy of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And normally, we're talking about the Panthers being good for a couple games and then bad for a game. And every once in a while, both of those idiots come out within the same game. And tonight, they came out within the same first period. We come out, we grab a 3-0 lead. We look ridiculous. Like, just absolutely insane. The energy, the passing, the chemistry. It's beautiful. It's the President's season all over again. The crowd's going to start yelling, "We want 10." And then as soon as they got the third goal, they just quit playing. And you could watch it happen. The very next shift, after we made it 3-0, they just stopped skating. They stopped playing. And Columbus gets one on a lucky deflection on a Gabranson shot that just pinballs right to a jacket, and then he puts it in the net. And then we end up giving up a 3-on-1, and Bob, kind of like the other night, not the Stolarz goal, but the night before that, Bob doesn't really come out to challenge the shooter, although it's a 3-on-1, so I understand. But he gets beat glove side by Boone Jenner, and it's 3-2. It's 3-2. And, you know, it's not the end of the world. We still have a lead. If we would have been leading the game 1-0 after the first period, we really wouldn't have had any complaints. But nothing illustrates more the frustration and aggravation that this fan base goes through with this team than that first period. They looked fantastic, and then they looked terrible, all within minutes of each other. How are they that mentally fragile? No, look at what they did last year. How did they manage to turn it on and off with such ease and look like two completely different hockey teams within matters of a minute? Unbelievable. So we need to go to second period, but I'll tell you what, if we somehow end up with less than 2 points in this game, fire and brimstone. Big fire, big brimstone, asteroids, black holes will be coming in the post-game show. So, it's 3-3 after 2. Now, there are a lot of emotions. Well, not emotions. Let's put it this way. If we do get 2 points in this game, it's going to be a very tepid, timid 2 points. We'll not be yelling, screaming, acting excited. Unless we get 4 goals in the third period, then they will earn the excitement. Now, that's on one hand. On the other hand, there's 2 points or 2 points, and I have been saying, I don't care how it looks. This ain't exactly what I meant. But I have been saying, I don't care how it looks, just get 2 points and stay healthy. The problem here is that first they stopped skating when they had a 3-0 lead. Then they gave up the one unlucky one, right? Branson takes the shot, rebound in the back of the net. Nothing Bob could do. Then the next 2, Bob gives up, I wouldn't exactly call it a softie, the second one, but he needs to come out and challenge the shooter, make it more difficult. However, then, much like Stolarz the other night when it was 2-0 and we were still in the game, Bob gives up the third one, and Week doesn't even cover it because it's just a soft shot that kind of hits Bob like in the lower belly, and somehow it goes between his legs and just rolls right through him into the net, and the game is tied. And now the good news is the period is over. Why is that good news? Because this team cannot play 2 periods in a row as the same team. They're completely different. So the hope is here they're going to come out and play the beginning of the third period the way they played the beginning of the first period. We'll have a 5-3 lead, and then we'll stop skating again and cross our fingers that we can hold on for a 5-4 victory. Let's see what happens.
We are going to overtime!
Highlight 2 points! Yes! Oh! Look. It was an emotional second period. Cut me some slack. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter how we get 2 points right now. Now I'm gonna get into it. Don't take that. Put it on the shelf. But right now, it doesn't matter how we got the 2 points. Nick Cousins, okay, ties the game with 56 seconds left. Now after we pulled Bob with 3 minutes left. You guys know how I feel about pulling the goalie. It makes me too nervous. I just don't like it. But we get the game tied. And then I don't want to see anybody ever again giving Anton Lundell any shit. All right? Because if you're watching that kid play and you're missing how smart that guy is in terms of his hockey IQ, you're missing out. That goal by Verhaeghe is on Lundell. They come down, it's a 2-on-1, and Lundell stares at Verhaeghe the entire time, just waiting to pass. And as soon as Martin takes a glance in Verhaeghe's direction, Lundell purposefully just banks the puck off of Martin's pads, right under Verhaeghe's stick, back of the net, and we win the game. What a beautiful, beautiful play. All right? Not everything is how many goals a dude scores. Okay? Lundell, I know he's not the player some of us thought he was going to be. He might still develop that way, but high hockey IQ guys are the guys that win games for you and maybe win cups. So we'll just leave it at that. Now, there's good and there's bad. We saw it all tonight. Again, one thing we should talk about here is that we did not have any real penalty trouble. Okay? Refs called a decent game. There wasn't any problems with the stick infractions and all of that crap. So we'll be happy about that. Normally, Bubba, you're going to get a better game out of Bubba than you got tonight. Okay? Was not his best game. We're just going to leave it at that. Comes off of a shutout. Then you sit him for a game. Now you play him. I'm not blaming his performance on anything like that. But usually when the guy gets a shutout, you play him. I know you want to play him against Columbus because it's his former team. But I revert to my previous statement about usually when the guy gets a shutout, you play him. Okay. Now, the thing to me that still is mind-numbingly unexplainable and inexcusable is the level of energy drop-off as soon as we make the game 3-0. Now, this is not Pee-wee, right? This is not your 6-year-old kids out there playing. It ain't even your 16-year-old kids out there playing. These guys should know just because you get a lead, you don't back off all the way. Do you still have to play, completely ridiculously balls to the wall like we were in the first period, beginning of the first period? Maybe not. But as soon as Columbus gets that one, you better turn it back on. And they did not do it until we were losing 4-3. Now that's a concern, except for the part where we know we've seen these guys turn it on late in the season, playoffs. We know what they're capable of when they turn it on. I understand they're probably trying to, in quotes, manage their energy level over the course of a full season. I don't necessarily have a big problem with that, but like I said, 3-0, a little bit of a let up, understandable. But when it becomes 3-1, you better turn that shit back on, and especially when it becomes 3-2. And they did not. They just looked flat, blah, lifeless, listless. So that's a bit of a, I don't know if concern is the word, but the way I'll look at this is we get 2 points and Maurice has plenty to bitch at them about in the improvement department. So you can kind of, I didn't see Verhaeghe celebrating a whole lot with that goal. You know what I mean? Cousins celebrated. Verhaeghe kind of looked like, yeah, we better freaking won this game. You know what I mean? They don't want to deal with me in a recap. I wish. So, disaster averted, because it's one thing you lose to the Blackhawks. It's another thing if you then lose to the Blackhawks and then you go home and you lose to the Jackets after having a 3-goal lead in the first period. There's no other way to put that other than that would have been disaster. Now, in terms of on the ice, Barkov, Rodriguez, Tkachuk still looks decent enough. Rodriguez is kind of slowed down a little bit. Not bad, but he's not as noticeable as he was at the beginning of the season. Tkachuk is still not the same dude that we saw at the end of the season last year. I am going to remain only mildly concerned until we get Bennett back for a certain length of time, and then if he still looks kind of the same that he does now, he's active around the net. The pucks are not going in. The pucks are not going in. Does it have anything to do with he doesn't have the dexterity yet because of the injury? We're never really going to know the answer to that question. If he eventually starts putting the puck in the back of the net a little bit more, okay. The Lundell line looked good. Now, he did move some things around for a little while. I think he moved Luosterainen up and Verhaeghe down. The fourth line continues. I mean, Lomberg got a goal. The fourth line, all of the fourth line players, you can't even say the fourth line because they're mixed all over the place. But Lomberg, Lorentz, Stenlund, Cousins, those four guys are giving us a lot of energy. And we got 2 goals out of those guys tonight, all right? And I think Lorentz hit the post. Stenlund continues to be really, really active. So I still feel confident about this team. And the only thing I'll say about tonight that I noticed is that I love Nico Mikkola. Don't get me wrong. I think this guy's going to be with us for a while. Great find by Zito. But we still miss Brandon Montour because I was noticing there when we were trying to press offensively, it's Mikkola and actually the fourth goal that Columbus got, Mikkola lost the puck at the line. Now, I'm not saying that to be critical of him, but what I am saying is that as much as Mikkola is giving us, I prefer Brandon Montour in that spot under 5 minutes left when we're trying to mount the comeback, and we've got a defenseman at the line who's going to be shooting the puck. So Mikkola is an acceptable option, but I think tonight was definitely a night where we felt the absence of Bennett and especially Montour. So you take that all into consideration, you get the 2 points, and you get your ass back out on the road. And can we please just beat the crap out of the Capitals, right? Because we have an opportunity. We still have an opportunity with some of these games coming up to maybe get on a 3, 4, maybe even a 5-game win streak that we never got to last year until we absolutely had to at the end of the season. And if we could do that, we could position ourselves just a little bit better so that maybe we're not chasing. I mean, we're not really chasing all that much now anyway. We're right there at the bottom, at the border of the last playoff spot, second, third place, because everybody's kind of compacted. Lightning blew a 4-1 lead tonight and then lost in overtime. Or was it the Leafs that blew a 4-1 lead? I think it was the Lightning. Yeah, the Lightning blew a 4-1 lead. Then they lost in overtime, which is not good because then everybody gets points over there. So that doesn't really help us a whole lot. So it's really, really compact. We have an opportunity before we go on this West Coast trip to get on a little bit of a run here, maybe 2 or 3 games, keep banking some points. And then the West Coast trip is not going to be all that easy. I think it's Sharks, Ducks, Kings, or Sharks, Kings, Ducks in one of those orders. So, we saw what the Ducks just did. They've been beating some good teams. I ain't taking nothing for granted against the Sharks because the only thing that all winless teams have in common is eventually they win a game. They ain't going 0-0, they're not going to go 0-81-1. All right? So, we'll take it. We will take the 2 points. We will wipe our brow. We will not get overly concerned about some of the intricacies of what we saw because we know what this team is capable of when they're healthy. And let's face it, if we went into the playoffs with no Bennett and no Ekblad and Montour, we'd be like, oh, well, we ain't winning, okay? And we would accept that. So when this team is healthy, I still have confidence that this team, at worst, is going to be there in the Final Four of this conference. And then at that point, once you get to the Final Four of the conference, I think it's anybody's ball game for the most part. Anything can happen. So just keep stacking points. And, it was 3-0, but I would still say that this is a night where we stacked 2 points in a game that we did not have our best. Because we only had our best for about the first. I mean, Merslurkin's Elvis was pulled less than 7 minutes into the game. So we played ridiculous for the first 7 minutes and the last 5. Now we got 2 points with us. That's partially the problem. Is because these guys know they can play good for 5 minutes and 5 minutes and get 2 points. So, all right. I'm just happy I didn't have to rant. It's not been a good sports weekend leading up to this game. The Panthers lost. Y'all know what happened to my Dolphins. Okay? So, and then we blow this lead and we're losing and there's a minute left. And I'm like, am I going to have to come in here and do one of those old school 2017 rants? A little early for that. Didn't really want to do it, but I would not have been able to control myself from doing it. That's the thing. You know, if I say I wouldn't want to do it, you might say, well, then don't do it. I would not have been able to control myself had we blown that game and gotten no points. So I'm happy. I can finish the recap. I can go upstairs. I can have a drink, and I can go to bed instead of getting myself all irritated because we blew the game. All right. Stu and I see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with the members and Patreon supporters. We go live 8 o'clock in the morning. We do the review exclusively. Links are in the description. $3 a month. We've been getting a lot of new members, a lot of new Patreon supporters. I really genuinely appreciate that. Also have a Monday through Friday podcast that I do. That is exclusive for those people as well. It is free on Spotify right now. It's been free for a couple of weeks. To be free for about another week or so until I can get that channel monetized. I post that to the community board if you're interested in that. I've been posting that while it's been free on Spotify. So, all right, we get to 2 points. Thank you all for coming out to the stream. A lot of nice super chats tonight. Really appreciate that. Stu came on and joined us for a little bit. Helped things out there too. We get to that, and that right now, that's all that matters.